Good afternoon, everybody, and I'm so happy to see a room full of people. A room full of people that care enough about your district to want to be mentors. So I applaud you all. So today's workshop is packed full of exercises that you don't have to have tennis shoes for or worry about stretching in advance, but it is an exercise that will help you grow and learn how to be a great mentor. So it's packed full of information. We're going to get right into it. So what is a mentor? Who do you think has an answer to what you think a mentor is? Without looking at the screen, what do you think? Oh, you're looking at the screen. I saw you in the back looking. You're looking at the screen. What do you think? In your mind, what is a mentor? Whenever you signed up for that role, what did you? A teacher, okay? What's the key trait of a great mentor? Yes?
They guide but don't tell.
Guide but don't tell. And how can they guide but not tell?
Questions.
Questions.
Asking questions.
You have to listen more than you talk. Oh gosh, is that hard for us? Admit it. You think you're going to go in there and you're going to tell them how to do everything. Yeah. But every club has its own culture. So you need to be the person that is the person who listens to what they need and guide them to how they can get what they need, leading by example. So as a mentor, towards the end of this, we'll go through a checklist that you can use, and hopefully you'll find that helpful. So you are the tutors of the new clubs. What are the benefits of being a mentor? Again, as we said, share your expertise. What else do you think?
There's so much excitement in new members, and when you have 20 new members in one room, there's just all that excitement.
So your job is to keep that excitement, right? Your job is to overcome the fear that they have. So that means you need to understand individually all of the members. Why did they join? And what is their fears that are keeping them from achieving their goals? You need to help them establish what their goals are. So that's the success plan. So you as a mentor need to work closely with those officers to be able to establish the success plan. How are they going to make this club a quality club and have their members achieve all of their individual goals, which that means you are asking those officers what their goals are, and that is teaching them to ask their members what their goals are. So you want to build that teamwork. You want to make sure that you are getting all that you can do to make them successful, which will then eventually be able to get you the credit for being a mentor. But if you spend a year or 6 months, depending on your agreement with that club, doing what you call as a mentorship, and at the end of the year, what happens if that club does not sign off that paper?
The paperwork's done, then it's not done till the paperwork's done.
Exactly. So you might have thought that you did everything you needed to do, but if that club doesn't feel that you fulfilled what they needed, your year of mentorship won't count. So it behooves you to do constant checks with them every month to make sure that they feel that they're getting the support that they need from you. So this just goes in to say that there are 2 clubs should be assigned whenever you charter a new club. And this is focusing you all on the new club aspect of mentorship. We'll talk a little bit briefly about how you should guide your club officers to institute members for each member. But there should be 2 mentors. And the reason why Toastmasters International chose 2 mentors is because each club meets generally either weekly, bi-weekly, or perhaps monthly. If they meet every week, it might be too much of a burden for one person to attend every meeting, unless you're like me and retired. But you want to make sure that there is either a mentor or a sponsor at every single meeting. So there is someone to lead the meeting, to guide, to teach, to train how to do it right, how to have a great meeting. So you want to make sure that there is a mentor or a sponsor at every meeting. And if you can have 2 of you there, that's even better. Again, working the schedule out with your co-mentor to see what meetings can you attend, what meetings will I attend, so we are assured that there is always a mentor there for that time period that you've agreed to. And again, the mention of the credit. If you aren't there, and they go months and months without a mentor, and then all of a sudden you show up because it's towards the end of the year and you think, oh my gosh, I have to get my sign off. I, as a club officer, would not sign that paperwork. So here are the things that a sponsor does. Again, the sponsor in your district, it's really what the district director has determined. In our district, our sponsors go for 6 months, not just till the paperwork's signed. But in some districts, the minimum is just until the chartering is done. But that sponsor is really the person that is helping the club VPM to recruit members. So it's not just you go and help the meeting, but you need to help them find ways to build that club in those first few months so that they get energized each time they meet. Somebody read that. I know sometimes, I got a comment once back where it's kind of elementary for you to make me read the slides, but it engages the audience. So somebody read what the slide says. The first.
Fish and you feed him for a day. Feed him on the fish and you feed him for a life.
So what does that say to you all?
Don't give the watch during the process.
Exactly. So if I expect you to be a good Toastmaster of the day, what do I need to show you how to do? You have to be Toastmaster of the day. And maybe it takes me 3 or 4 or 5 times to do it. But as a mentor, I have a script for Toastmaster of the day. So I share my Toastmaster of the day script with you, and I help you by prompting you as you do your meeting so you don't feel that you are lost and you might flub up. And again, anything that you do as a new Toastmaster of the day can't be wrong because you took the time and energy to do it. So I'm going to always reward you for being brave enough to step up to do that. And if I'm general evaluator, I have a script for that. So I'm going to follow my script so that you know, well, Vicki followed the script. It's okay for me to follow the script. And now that I follow the script, everything moves smoothly. We end on time. We show how the quality meeting should look. And so now, as the next general evaluator, I'm not so afraid. Again, you're going to show them how to be timer. You're going to share with them the table tents that have the little script that say what each role is, and you will demonstrate how you stand, and you tell at the beginning of the meeting, my job is vote counter, and as vote counter I'll collect the votes, and this is the ballot, and so on and so forth. So you lead by example, and you make them feel comfortable to be able to take on that role. So you are a fisherman, and you teach them how to fish.
Just everyone's included doesn't matter.
Well, there are some clubs that don't vote at all.
Yes.
Because they feel that it's negative, and for our clubs, that I'm in 4 clubs, if we don't vote, they have a all up in arms. What do you mean we can't get a ribbon? I was like, okay.
They don't want to do a competitive.
Yes, and you have to respect their culture. So if I'm a mentor or an area director going into that club, I do not tell them they have to vote, they have to have ballots, they have to do anything. I will understand why they aren't doing it, and if they're just doing it because they don't want to spend the money, I might just say, well, why don't you take a vote of the membership as to whether they'd like to be recognized? And if they all say they don't care, then good, you're good. If you are a club member mentor, if you are first day, second day, and you have a new person that comes and sits next to you, you could mentor that person because you know one day more stuff than they do. Our club motto is that you make every person, every guest feel invited. And To be invited means that you have somebody there helping you along the way, understanding our protocol, understanding what we do, why we do it. And you can do that as a new member. Every member should have a mentor, and that is a culture that you should instill in your new clubs. But if you are a mentor for a new club, I want you to know as much as you can. But you don't have to know it all. What do you say to somebody if you don't have the answer?
I'll find out.
I'll find out. I'll call the division director. I'll call the PQD. I will get an answer for you tomorrow. Don't make it up. Don't tell them I don't know. Always tell them I will find out. What are the consequences of not submitting membership applications or dues? Let's have somebody in the back answer that. Come on, you in the back.
Not submitting membership applications would be that your members are not added in a timely fashion. The consequence of not submitting dues would be that your membership would look lower than it really is.
So you're a member, and they filled out the application, gave you the money, and
But we were told very clearly from TI, you never take the money until after you've taken the application and voted them in.
Correct.
Reminded me.
Yes, they do.
Is that right? You never did it?
So TI this past several years has really pushed that, and it is in the protocol that the members should be voted in so that you can vote them out. In my bylaws, we have that we do not vote in my corporate club because it's part of the corporate club HR. So we get, we put in our goals, the vote, or the goals. So our goals for UPS were that I was going to get a CC or I was going to get a pass and whatnot. So we don't have that, but TI is pushing it so much, so now we're going to be instituting that. But the thing is, there are some treasurers and some clubs that they will hold membership payments. So I'm a member, and I didn't get a letter from TI telling me, welcome to Toastmasters, and I am going to the meetings, but I am not getting things. And I think TI is just falling behind. In the meantime, the treasurer just didn't go to the bank, or the treasurer didn't do what he needed to do. The VP of membership didn't do what they needed to do. So as a mentor, you need to make sure that anytime a new person comes to that meeting, that those two people do their job, and their membership and dues are collected timely. As a mentor, you identify clubs, meetings, and customs. So it's not that you are going to set the meetings and customs. You have to help them fill out the paperwork, which has the bylaws, which says how often are you going to meet, where are you going to meet, what time are you going to meet, and that sets your culture. If you're going to vote or not going to vote, if you're going to have ballots or not going to have ballots, you're showing them the agenda to use and where to get all those things. That's creating the culture. So you want to help them develop that culture and cultivate that culture so that that club can have a long-term maintenance. If you have a club that doesn't follow a set time, and it's hard for people to know when to come, it's hard to get new guests, it's hard to, if they come and there's an agenda one day and then some other day there's no agenda and there's nobody signed up for anything, and you're not organized when you come, the members or the guests are not going to want to stay. And so it's very important that you instill the importance of why we do the things we do and have them decide what it is exactly their culture is going to be. And their corporate, if it's a corporate club, it could be that corporate is going to define what the culture needs to be. If it's a community or church club, it could be. It could be a church club where they start the meeting with the prayer as opposed to the pledge or the mission. So again, you want to figure out what that culture is and help them cultivate that and document it. So quality meetings. This is what we talked about earlier. You want to ask all of the members, as a mentor, sit with them and find out why they joined. And you want to then, when you're working with your team of officers on the success plan with them, that first success plan, you want to kind of remind them about what John's goals were while he joined and what Mary's goals were. And so now you have a foundation to be able to continually inspire and motivate those individuals about why they joined, so that you can be assured that you are meeting their needs. The success plan should be reviewed every quarter because you get new members continually, and so it may be that you have a new member that has a burning desire to go quickly, and that might change your success plan because they want to get to be a path finished in 6 months, and so you're going to work with them to be able to do that and change that. But you continually have to understand your environment. I ask my clubs to do the moments of truth, and those of you that may not know what that is, it is in Toastmasters. You can pull it down, but it's a great guide or gauge as to how to have a quality club, and it reminds people to think about why they joined and why they stay. And so I do a survey with the moments of truth and then about 5 questions about, do you still like the meeting time? Is the day good still? Do you like us to have more education items that are, different? Do you want me to come and talk to you about leadership skills or communication skills? Would you like to have guests more often? All of those things show the members that you care about what they say. All of those members now feel like this is their club. It's not just the president's club or the officers' club. You are being creative and innovative with them to make the club something that they're going to want to keep joining and be a member of. So we want to keep going here. So here we just have about moments of truth, as I mentioned, and I will give everybody this presentation, or we'll have Circe have this available to you. But this just talks about quality clubs and why moments of truth is such an important part of it. You want to build memberships. You talked about that. It's important to have those 20 people in your membership, and that means you continually have to have open houses and membership drives every single month. Corporate, community, no matter what you are, every single month you should have something. Benefits of club growth: stronger base, continual flow. Those new members reinvigorate the older members, so you want to make sure that you do that. So again, the vice president of membership should be one of the key people that you work with, because that person is helping to bring in members. The sponsor in the beginning is going to help that person with the membership, but you as a mentor need to continue that support. Contests. We talked just briefly about contests, but this is a great way for clubs to actually be able to understand that there's more outside of the walls of their club. That you really need to, as a mentor, introduce them to other clubs in their areas and have them support in their contests. And to really actually have the clubs that are weak, have the strong clubs go and have sit in and help them with their meetings. That community helps them understand the whole district of Toastmasters and why we're more than just a club. But member retention. Oh, woe is me. Yes. The thing you need to tell those club officers every time you meet with them is that if you only have 2 or 3 people, it isn't time to slit your wrist. It isn't time to close the doors, throw write letters to TI saying you're going to give up your charter, because it will change. If you are doing everything possible and you still are having issues, that is when you call on the district, the mentor, whomever you can to help you. Reach out to those neighboring clubs, have an open house, and have some of the neighboring club members come in and help you with your meetings, so that when the guests come, it doesn't look like there's only 2 people. You have to be creative, but you can't be defeated. And the district role is to help you in that. And you as a mentor, supporting them for that whole year. In my business, we say one of the goals of the 10 core commitments is that you'll be there in a year. And that should be a Toastmaster commitment too. Be there in a year. And in that year, you should see an improvement if you do the do. Pathways, we talked about, the badges, the certificates. When you're determining what that culture is, as your executive team and your members, what do you want? Do you want to formally have those every level certificates presented to you, or are you happy just digitally having them? Do you want the badges to make a big deal of it? Are you going to utilize the feedback that Toastmasters Pathways has, where you can as a member, can give another member a badge of courage or whatever to recognize that they've done some great things. Get to know Pathways and the recognition and how you can use that to make your meetings more meaningful. The Distinguished Club, again, the club success plan is your roadmap to success. And you as a mentor have to help them understand how to use that to help them be able to be strong and get through those roller coaster rides of ups and downs. All right, here's the checklist I promised. Introduce yourself. That builds relationship, builds trust. It is establishing yourself as that subject matter expert. And then as you support them, that shows them that they have someone to lean on. Your relationship as a mentor should never end. You should be able to say at the end of the year, if you ever need me, here's my name, here's my number, here's my card. You call me, I will come. Establish a schedule. Again, as I mentioned earlier, you want to make sure that the two mentors always have someone at that meeting. And if you too cannot make it, call on the sponsor. If they can't make it, call on a fellow Toastmaster to be there so that club is never alone. These executive meetings, so often I find that clubs do not do executive meetings. If you're 21 years like me, you can have them maybe once every 2 months or once a quarter. But even a 21-year-old club has new members, new executive officers, new people. So it really helps to meet every single month, even if it's only for 15 minutes. I'm not a person for having a meeting for the sake of a meeting, but there is always something that you can talk about to help your club, even if it's just to say, who are we going to recognize next month for doing a great job? So again, check in with your club growth director. That person is going to need to know how things are going. They're responsible for you being successful as much as you are. So make sure. That would be Mr. John, please.
John or something. Yeah.
So John is responsible for making sure you have the tools in your toolbox to be successful as a new club mentor. And he should be feeding you. As he gets new things and new ways, he'll feed those to you. Read those emails. Take those calls. So during the meeting, again, we talked about this earlier. You want to present yourself as the general evaluator and the Toastmaster for several meetings. Encourage your president, VPE to take on those roles subsequently. Again, all the officers should lead by example. We have a thing that we do in our district called Full Circle, and it's a way for us to get all members to get involved every 6 months to kind of track. So it's in addition to the DCP, but it's a fun thing, and it's a circle shaped like a pie, a pizza pie. And so each person, every time their vote counter, the timer, they have to do each one of those roles: evaluator, table topics master, table topics speaker, evaluator, Toastmaster, general evaluator. When you fill your pie at the end of the 6 months, so December, you get an award or a pizza party, whichever the club decides to do. But little things like that encourage people and add a little bit of competition and things. Again, whatever works for your culture. And then always ask your members, how can we do this better? Talk to the president of VPE about the success plan. help them form it, all the officers should be involved in it, all the officers should buy into it, and every quarter at least you should be looking at it. Again, you're talking to the secretary, you're talking to the logistics manager. The secretary, the value of you doing the I call it the wiki, not because my name's Vicky, but the wiki, because it's electronic email that we send every meeting. After every meeting, we say who won what the speeches were about, and basically to make you feel bad that you missed the meeting. And then we encourage them that next week we have this person talking about this, and again, and you send that to not only the members but also the guests. And then get feedback, as I mentioned earlier. So what questions do you have?
Can I make this presentation available to everybody?
Yes, I already, she'll be able to post it.
I like the title, Logistics Manager.
Yes. Well, it's Sergeant at Arms, but in the district, we're logistics manager, so I like to promote you to logistics manager. Yes.
How can you make sure the mentors are both on the same page in terms of how things are done?
So that goes back to training and to our club growth director. And the club growth director, I recommend, should have a mentor call at least once a quarter. But if you could do it every other month, it'd be even better. And that is just a half an hour call, just how things going, what do you see, what do you need, and how can I help? When you do that, you'll have stronger mentors. And you will also get people that will want to be mentors because they know they have the support. When you just as a district assign mentors and don't give you training or support, nobody wants this job.
In a brand new club where most of the people know absolutely nothing, how do we not bombard them with all of these things?
And that's why you do your mentorship over a year, and that's why you do things with them as the mentor, so that you're little by little doing and passing on the role. You have to recognize when they're ready, but like the mother bird, you've got to push them sometimes out of the nest, but you should never, ever leave them that, well, this is everything you have to do, and I'm gone. Never, ever, ever.
And you don't want to scare them away.
No, but there are things, but every time someone comes to a meeting, a new guest, they always say how wonderful the structure is. So all we're teaching you is the structure. And you will get used to it. It becomes a habit. The more you do it, it becomes a habit. Thank you, everybody. I hope you learned something. And I very much appreciate you allowing me to be here to share what I know. And I look forward to hearing all the success that you all will have as mentors.